The BMW X4 M40i, the top sports variant of the X4, is today in Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars with Thomas. So we're going to fill you in with all on the details, exterior, interior and the performance driving experience. I can promise you, this was very surprising. I will tell you why, and we'll answer questions like BMW X6 or X4, going for the bigger or the smaller brother, then X3 or X4, classic SUV or the coupe style. What about competitors, Porsche Macan or the X4 M40i, how do they compare? And is this already a true BMW M model? Let's see in Autogefühl in full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go! First with the impressive startup and listen to the sound. I was really surprised. Let's first start with a price overview. The X4 in general is always more expensive than the X3 because it does not come with entry trim level engines. Always has a bigger engine than the X3, for example, from standard equipment. In the US, for example, 45,000, Germany 48,000 for a general basic X4. Then the M40i, 58,000 in the US and 65,000 in Germany. What do you get for it? First of all, besides this massive front double kidney and the horizontal drawn headlights, in the sports version you got a more aggressive lower part here with those bigger air intakes. Overall, a massive appearance for a compact SUV in the front already. And I personally very much like the LED signature here in this still round BMW style. 4.67 meters or 15'3" is the total length of this compact SUV. That's pretty much standard size in the compact SUV segment. X4 and X3, the biggest difference is of course the coupe ending line, falling roof line, and you really have to like that. I rather prefer the standard SUV setup. But maybe some sedan lovers say, I want more comfort than a normal low-sitting sedan, I want to put it higher. And this is basically some put up higher sedan or coupe, so that could be an argument for that. Usually the X4 already comes with 18-inch rims, the M40i with 19. These ones here optionally 20-inch M rims, really massive. And look at the driving shots we've made when I'm really cornering, how close the tires are squeezed and how close the rims then come to the ground. That is really amazing. M logo, then contrasting mirror caps are also in this package, and no chrome but a black frame around the windows. Then the coupe line right here and this falling roof, shoulders formed. And what about you? Love or hate this coupe style? And what about the rear? I think it does indeed look a little bit bulky, especially because the design line here is going inwards again. Rear camera there, by the way. Then the M logo right there. Well, I found quite nice that we get the white contrast here in the lower part again and two big exhaust pipes painted in black. Also interesting is, if you look here at the lower part, there's also this foot sensor for the electric hatch. And well, to me, all those systems here, there it work now. I think they work to like 30 to 80%, but not 100%. I think the best system was with a Hyundai Tucson or Kia Sportage, where you could optionally just stand here for 3 or 5 seconds. Then the tailgate opens. If you move around with the foot, maybe heavily loaded, you may lose your balance. And again, I have never experienced a system which works 100%. Here at least 2 or 3 tries are always needed. And then as for the safety here when closing it, yeah, that was a good result. So also good the resistance or sensitivity for the electric tailgate for child safety. And now what about those 2-liter 4-cylinders or those 3-liter 6-cylinder engines? Let's take a look. M Performance here. And together with this nice logo you get this 3-liter engine, 6-cylinder and 360 horsepower below 5 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers or 0 to 62 miles an hour in acceleration. Consumption officially 9 liter, but 10 liter is realistic, but again not too far away from the official figure. That's okay. And other engines would be 3-liter petrol with 300 horsepower or 2-liter petrol with 245 horsepower or 2-liter petrol with 180 horsepower. And then Europe diesels, 3-liter with 313, 3-liter with 258 or 2-liter with 190. Then let's get inside. Solid door handles and solid door closing sound. And let's start at the inside of the doors. Very nice. This brushed aluminum that looks sporty and high class at the same time. And X3 and X4 are not too different, but the M40i is. Here first normal storage spaces inside of the doors. Then the special entry cover at the lower part and also the aluminum foot packs. Then sports seats in the M40i. The basic X4 starts with cloth seats in Germany and with leatherette, so-called Sensatec in the US. That's good. But sadly the M40i just comes with animal skin in the US and a mix of cloth and animal skin in Germany. This one here, then the optional full animal skin. BMW has to offer more alternatives here in that case. I really like the form of the M steering wheel. It's compact and very sporty, great to control. Instruments are still rather classic. See it right here with the analog display, just some digital elements that are displayed when the car is turned on. And also looking forward to the middle console because this is also covered in aluminum. Let's get inside, and your driving position can be adjusted very well. First of all, for tall drivers you can lengthen the seating area right there. Also electric controls, putting it up or down, front and rear, also the back part, and also electric lumbar support right here. There it is in all 4 areas. And this one here, showed earlier, this is here to the upper part to strengthen the side bolsters of the seats. It works with air pressure. Then you can also make a tighter, sportier seating. Also another storage space in the front right there, and you can also adjust the steering wheel, and that was right there manually. Here quite a long way, and great to adjust this very nice M-Speed steering wheel with high-class shifting levers. Cockpit overview, again with the M steering wheel for volume, left side cruise control, classic instruments with a split of analog and digital. I think has a great design. Horizontal layout here in the cockpit and a very clear, crystal clear resolution. You see it goes deep in there, the infotainment screen, and that enables you to see it also when it's very bright. Dashboard here, it's softened up a little bit and with a structure so that it's high class as well. Rather classic structure right here, still a lot of buttons left. I would like to know who still uses a DVD or CD changer. I would be looking forward to that. And the knobs here from a very good quality. I can also turn on the ignition again. You can see how that looks right there. And everything else will be controlled with a middle console. We are going to take a detailed look to. Overall, good build quality. It's a little bit, you know, outdated maybe, but to me I have no problem with it. And that's the difference when the ignition is turned on. You got the M40i logo, digital one there, and also the fuel information and so on. And the efficient dynamics, that will be interesting when we drive the car, because then we can see the recuperation, and every modern BMW is a kind mild hybrid, because the energy from braking is saved, and then the normal car battery does not have to be reloaded, and then the car saves fuel. Middle console here again in this nice matte brushed aluminum shape with the automatic shifting lever. Driving modes we will test when we drive the car. Eco Pro is more for coasting or sailing. Sport mode is for boosting the RPMs and the shifting process. Here you can control the infotainment screen with turning and pressing, and also some shortcuts. Storage space here also in the middle with beverage holders, adaptive, a nice and clean solution. And below the armrest again, highly fixed everything, great build quality. And then there's this snap-in adapter. And does anyone have an iPhone mounted in there? I would like to see how that looks. And more space right there, and also the USB connection is here. Climate unit, rather classical horizontal layout, but good in the quality when you turn the knobs and so on. And DVD changer in the lower part. Infotainment system, good reaction times from the GPS. I really like that, and also a crystal clear display, and I can just stress that. Even though it's not the newest generation, for example, if we put a new destination right here, let's say I want to go to Berlin, this would be a little bit complicated, but I can use the middle central multimedia knob also to draw here like this, and then I can also type in Berlin, for example. That didn't quite work. Why didn't? Let's go again for the R. There it is. Then I can go to the right side and select Berlin, and there it is. And let's see how fast that goes. What about the calculation of that? Of course, always takes some seconds. I think it should be starting now.
Wenn möglich, bitte wenden.
If possible, please turn. There it is. Then media, you can also, for example, select Bluetooth streaming. I did connect my smartphone via Bluetooth. Apple CarPlay, for example, is not available yet. And the basic connected drive would be some additional services. If you are paying for that, concierge services, for example, you call them and say, hey, where's the next restaurant, for example. Depends on which system you have gotten yet. And for the settings, you can also, for example, set stuff with the light, ambient lighting, for example. You can set classic or more modern, and then also the intensity of the ambient lighting. And I wanted to show you the sport gauges here for the Newton meter of torque and also the horsepower input. Very nice display here as well. And the rear view camera is like this. Good display, and you have the PDC information with the sensors and the classic rear view camera at the same time. What about the rear seats? You see the door does not open quite wide. Then if I would be sitting in the front, 1.86 m or 6'1", in the front I had like this space above my head. Here the headroom is a little bit less, like this, so it does still work, although it's this coupe style. In the X3, of course, you have more headroom, especially when you're falling back. So if you're laying back, then I'm getting very close to the roof, so depending how you're sitting. What is remarkable that you sit very, very low here in the rear. You feel like you're sitting like that lower than in the front. That's a little bit strange. Knee space wise, it still does work, but not the best package that is offered here from length on the outside and the space you have on the inside, and especially this very low seating position here in the rear, a little bit irritating to me. And then you can flip the seats from here, and that's actually the only possibility. You will also see it soon from the trunk here in a 1/3, 2/3 split. That would be possible already from here. Also, you can do it from the rear seats as well. You can have this ski hatch, so you can also have this split, not only 2/3, 1/3, and then you can grab around here and also flip the seats from the rear. And then this upper cover you could remove right there, and that's the space you can get. So it is still reasonable, but the height is limited. That might be a problem for me when I put my mountain bike here, lay it down, remove the front tire, and then the handlebars are like this upright. That could give problems in the height. Overall, everything else is well usable. Also, a 12-volt power supply is mounted right there, and you can also install some practical nets or also enough fixation possibilities. Let's start with our ride. About sporty? Okay. Wow. What a direct steering. What a sound. Look at that. How natural the steering feels at the same time. And the car is hardly tilting to the sides, because we have the adaptive dampers that come with the M40i. Look at that cornering now. Wow. The car remains totally precise and very well in control. You can hardly believe it is still an SUV. So they've managed that very well. And from driving aspects, I mean, we recently just had the Porsche Macan GTS. This is really comparable. I'm really surprised about that. And you heard the sound from the outside. What? And performance also below 5 seconds in the standard acceleration. Wow. So really massive, 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 massive. But also if you drive it calmly inside the city, and we'll do it right now, you can still very well control this car and have fun with it. We start here in the Eco Pro mode, then also the start-stop function gets active. Well, but now the traffic light to green. The car still sounds different than a normal X4. In this Eco Pro mode, the lower parts here turn blue. If I lift the throttle, the car's rolling, coasting or sailing. It means no engine brake. That reduces consumption, as I can roll and roll and roll and don't have to put the throttle. And that's really comfortable for driving inside the city and everyday driving city. That's just a smooth driving feeling. I like that. However, the throttle input is decreased at the very same time, and that means you do have to press it that the acceleration comes. It's still okay, you have to get used to it. the car still feels sporty and you can do some impressive accelerations, that's out of question. I'm always also looking at this great head-up display. It's a very clear display of the speed I'm allowed to go and the speed I'm actually going. And that gives us an additional help. I can keep my vision on the street, not have to look down to the instruments. A normal driving mode, selecting it now, would be comfort. Then I already feel that there's more engine brake. Now in a fast city corner here, I have more throttle input, let's say a normal throttle input, but the car's already using a little bit of the engine brake. That's not like in this Eco Pro mode. Also shifts down the gear, for example. So for calm city driving, I would even prefer the Eco Pro mode. And this one here is also a vehicle where the driving modes make a big difference from each. Also the Sport mode, for example, you maybe already heard that. I got more throttle input. Also the gears shifted down earlier and shifted up later. And there's also the Sport Plus mode. This is the mode I was driving, for example, when I did those action shots you've seen from the outside. And here also the stability control is drawn back just a little bit. That gives you more flexibility. And in general, the BMW all-wheel drive systems are of course rear wheel biased to ensure this sporty BMW driving feeling. For driving it in the city, the Sport and Sport Plus mode are a little bit too nervous. That's not that comfortable on the long-term run. So I rather stay away from those than in the city. Also, you know, this car's really loud. I was surprised by that. So in the city, I'd rather stay with the comfort mode, for example, or the Eco Pro mode, indeed. What is the best thing probably with this car also counts for the X3 or for the X4 in general, not only for the sports version here. You know, I'm not the BMW guy usually. I also try to remain very objective, not tend to be biased towards the one or other brand. But the strange feeling here is I cannot explain exactly. This car here in general, X3, X4, they give me a kind of cozy feeling, a feeling of you're at home. I'm not really sure why is that the case. Maybe cars are generally comfortable to ride. At the same time, it offers you a sporty riding feeling. And what's always remarkable, I think BMW has really great suspensions. And with modern cars, it's that each wheel has this independent wheel suspension. That means each wheel is able to use the dampers on its own. Here even stressed more because we have the adaptive dampers that react on the situation, on the speed. But with the BMW cars, you feel it even stronger always, at least that's my opinion, that each individual wheel is reacting on the surface. And you know, some cars, they feel like they're like going this and this and this and this. And with the BMW, you feel like, you know, all of the four wheels are always adapting. Equal techniques are also used by other manufacturers, but it's just a feeling that I can convey, you know. And I've driven every car in this segment, and this is the one where I have this feeling the most. That's so very interesting. Also, I really like the combination of digital and analog instruments. You don't go one way. It's a nice combination, really. The cruise control is not an adaptive one, and this is now again a very important information. You can of course get an adaptive cruise control. It's available, I think, for every BMW nowadays, but it's not included here. There's a classic cruise control, and you know, to differentiate those is really important, because you've been asking us recently, also sometimes, why are you always showing those high top trim level cars? Well, I would really like to show you some new cars with like basic trim level or middle trim level, but the car manufacturers, they don't usually offer that in their pool. Also, I would like to show you the more cloth seats or the middle trim level seats. They're always equipped with the most expensive animal skin seat. And the problem is really they still think I have to present to the journalist the maximum we can do. And then we have those strange situations where we have test vehicles which are more than double the basis price. And it's of course not that realistic also for a customer. And I really don't like that. I can just, give the feedback to the manufacturer and hope it changes at some point. Sometimes it works, sometimes not. But just so you have the insight and the explanation of this. And one reason is that other journalists sometimes make the mistakes and then say, if they get a lower or basic trim car, and then say, oh, this car does not have blah blah, or oh, the car does not even have a proper GPS system, or the screen is not big enough. Yeah, you have to say, this is like the 5-inch screen, and option you can get 8-inch, or like this, that is the basic cruise control. Optionally, you can get the adaptive cruise control. And so manufacturers look at those reports and say, oh, well, they're obviously too dumb to differentiate. And if we give out lower or mid-trim level cars, then it is said, oh, this car does not have this, and does not have this, and does not have this. Yeah, so that's also a reason, because some journalists really don't read the price list, have no clue of what the car has from standard equipment, what has optionally. And then the manufacturer reacts again and puts again the high trim level car. So that's the dilemma I'm in at the moment. I would really like to test some lower spec cars. Yeah, that's the problem. So you know the background of this then as well. But we here on Autogefühl, we always try to keep you as informed as possible also of what is the basic standard trim, also as for the seat surfaces, which become more and more important for even more customers, and then also what is optional, what is included in this top version, and so on. Hope you appreciate that. Riding this car in the city, especially in the comfort and the Eco Pro mode, is really comfortable. Also from the M Sport suspension we have here, yeah, it is stiffer than the normal one, but it's not that stiff that you would say, nah, it's totally uncomfortable, I cannot ride it in the city. So I'm really still very satisfied with the suspension. They found a good compromise there. Visibility is of course a little bit limited when I'm looking to the rear mirror, because the rear window is that flat in the coupe style. It's better in the X3. You maybe sometimes see the orange triangle flashing at the inside of the mirrors, and that's the blind spot monitor, one of the assistance systems that are mounted in here. The visibility to the front and the sides is good. Windows are rather upright there. And it's already fun to cruise around this car in the city because of the direct steering and the overall sporty setup of the car. So I can already say so far, this one is one of my favorite compact SUVs from riding. Really feel at home here, it really feels comfortable. Sometimes you can just change the driving position just a little bit by the electric controls, and you always have a lot of fun and really surprised how sporty it is. What is missing here with our driving report yet is the performance on the Autobahn, on the motorway, as we are in Germany today. We can also test it on the motorway very well. We'll find a spot where you can really hammer the throttle, then you can see the performance, and I was really amazed by that, especially from startup. You've seen it initially, how fast this car really goes from startup together with the all-wheel drive. That was really impressive. And also some other true sports cars really have problems to keep up with that pace of the BMW X4 M40i. There it is, by the way. the blind spot monitor with the orange triangle, very useful assistance system. Let's go off the motorway here. We have bigger brake discs in the sports version, and they really work very well. Also don't have to apply the brakes that hard, very satisfied by that. And also while braking, the car doesn't move too far to one of the sides, but I feel it's a little bit too heavy. I do expect from the next generation, I mean it's a compact SUV and we are at 2 tons in weight. I would like to have the weight lowered, but I'm pretty sure that BMW will figure out that with the engines, and of course also with maybe with a carbon fiber and aluminum steel mix technology. So I promised you some huge acceleration. That is to come. We'll go to the Sport Plus mode. Then you already hear that is boosting the exhaust already in the Sport mode. Sport Plus mode, even better performance. And let's go here now. Just hammer throttle. Let's go to whatever. That's 200 now. Really impressive. That for an SUV. Yeah, of course at 200 it gets loud in here, but in general sound insulation is very good, and already at that high speeds here still superb handling for that vehicle. Really impressed by that. And what an aggressive sound. Wow. So what would be a very comfortable speeds? For example, here at 140, don't have to raise my voice that much. We had vehicles with a better sound insulation. I think Audi and Porsche maybe have that one a little bit better than BMW, my impression. Now again reducing speed to 80. Of course it gets more silent. Wow. I just invite you to scroll back and enjoy this acceleration here again, because that was really amazing. And still due to this all-wheel drive, the acceleration is really fast, but harmonic at the same time, because we have this weight of the SUV and the all-wheel drive that puts the power to the ground. And more and more liking those all-wheel drive accelerations, because if you just have those rear-wheel drive accelerations, not that easy to put the power to the ground. Here, by the way, now how the car looks like in the dark, also as for the dashboard. You've seen I put the ambient lighting higher, but I don't see too much of the ambient lighting, to be honest. Also not sure why is that. Oh, let me switch something around there. But still, not too much ambient light you can see here in that vehicle. So really hope you like that performance party as well. Want to see one more? Yeah, we can do that. We can use the same part of the Autobahn, just switch back again, that you can hear and see the performance of the X4 M40i just once more. So here we go again. Some more performance. We can slalom at high speeds. Look at how little the tilting is although we are driving an SUV. So, what about the acceleration again? By the way, the difference, Eco Pro would be like this. Sound not that loud. Then Sport or Sport Plus. Sport Plus is like this. That was like 110 to 200 now, so relatively easy for that vehicle also to accelerate at higher speeds. Just now at very high speeds we hear that it's getting quite loud in here, and that is also due to the wind resistance of the vehicle. That would be better, for example, in a lower sitting sedan. Let's hammer the brakes now again. Yeah, good brakes, and we already have reduced the speed according to. Consumption-wise, if we do those acceleration tests, the consumption of course raises up drastically, now at 12 liters on 100 kilometers. But as I've stated earlier, if you drive this vehicle relatively calmly and don't do acceleration tests, then you can also easily get it to 10 liters on 100 kilometers. And of course it's not little, but then again, for such a heavy car and for such a performance, that's in comparison okay, because we have had 2-liter turbocharged smaller engines that consume the same amount of fuel. So you have to put that in perspective as well. Now I'm going back to the calmer Eco Pro mode, set cruise control, let the car sail, and enjoy the rest of this ride here, and now again in a calmer way. And I hope you liked our driving insight for today. And now to the conclusion, BMW X4 M40i. In general, the X3 and the X4 still remain a very good SUV in this compact class, no question. Even if they are kind of due to renewal, I think they're still basically on a top notch. Okay, there's no smartphone connectivity yet. As for the mirror, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, whatever, that will come with the next generation. It's still a very good interior quality and well, rather conservative style on the interior, really expressive and impressive exterior. The X4, you have to like that coupe line. That is rather love or hate. I would rather prefer an X3. Especially this version here, what a performance. Also as an SUV, this can easily match the Porsche Macan. Really pronounced Macan, by the way. We had an Indonesian fan that showed us this is the right pronunciation and not Macan. Then, is it a true M model? I mean, listen to the sound, and you've probably seen some of the performance. To me, it is a true M model. With the X4, you definitely lose some versatility if you compare it to the X3, that you have to be sure about. But maybe there are some sedan lovers who say, oh, you know, I want a little bit more comfort, but still a sedan or coupe style, and then the X4 might be something. So, and I want to hear your answers on the questions we have had in the beginning. I've given you my answers. Looking forward to yours, and thank you very much for your attention here on Autogefühl. See you next time.